Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this episode I'll be discussing Cocoon. This is a 1985 science fiction comedy drama, directed by Ron Howard and starring Don Ameche as Art Selwyn, Wilford Brimley as Ben Luckett, Hume Cronyn as Joe Finley, Brian Dennehy as Walter, Steve Guttenberg as Jack Bonner, Maureen Stapleton as Mary Luckett, Jessica Tandy as Alma Finley, Gwen Verdon as Bess McCarthy, Tahnee Welch as Kitty, and Barret Oliver as David. I wanted to review this film because it's one of my all-time favourites from the 1980s, and it had a very profound effect on the 11-year-old me when it first came out. But more poignantly, because I note with great sadness that the entire senior cast of the film is sadly no longer with us, including the late great Wilford Brimley, who wasn't even a senior when the film was made, and of course Brian Dennehy is no longer with us either. This marks the end of an era for me personally, and also casts a different light on the film, the central theme of which, of course, is old folks trying to live forever. I first saw Cocoon when I was 11 years old with my noisy cousins from Birmingham, and I'll never forget the scene in the swimming pool in which Tahnee Welch shares herself with Steve Guttenberg, sending a dazzling ball of energy bouncing off all the walls and eventually plunging into his chest. And he has what can only be described as a profound experience, and utters the immortal line, "If that's foreplay, I'm a dead man." Now, of course, my cousins all bellowed with laughter, and at first I hadn't got the joke, and I asked them to explain it to me, and they said, "You'll find out sooner or later." And you can be sure I made it my life's mission to find out sooner. And I did. Cocoon was also the first film to make me fall in love with its soundtrack. Now, I'd been watching films all my life and was aware of film music. I could probably easily hum you the tune for Superman or Star Wars or anything else with a score by John Williams, but Cocoon's music by James Horner haunted me in a very particular way that made me want to own the soundtrack. It was the first time I'd ever actually desired the soundtrack for a film separate from the film itself, just so that I could listen to the music. And it was the first soundtrack I ever owned. It was also the first VHS video I added to my collection. I won't bog down this review with a lengthy description of the plot. Suffice it to say that aliens have returned to Earth to retrieve some friends who they left behind thousands of years ago at the bottom of the ocean, and they hire Steve Guttenberg and his boat to help them bring their friends to the surface. Now, these friends are encased within cocoons, and in order to protect and sustain the cocoons while they're still on Earth, they place them in a swimming pool at their property, and they fill the pool with life force energy. Now, as it happens, this pool house is located right next door to an old folks retirement home, and some of these old guys have been trespassing at the pool for years, going for a swim. And when they discover the cocoons in the pool, they're a little bit perplexed at first, but they carry on swimming regardless, and discover the rejuvenating properties of swimming in this pool, essentially a fountain of youth. Now, they get a bit carried away and excited by their new lease of life, and cause all sorts of problems, but luckily the chief alien, Walter, played by Brian Dennehy, is extremely kind-hearted, and recognising the old folks' desire to live forever, offers them the opportunity to return to his home planet with him, where they won't ever get sick and they won't ever die. The film is a perfect blend of humour, whimsy and sorrow, and boasts probably the best lineup of veteran actors ever to share a screen. The heartfelt and sincere nature of the old folk storyline is beautifully told, with equal measures of respect and sentimentality, and the film wisely keeps its science fiction elements to a minimum. Bridging the gap between the aliens and the humans are Steve Guttenberg, who provides much humour and charm, and young Barret Oliver, who provides a window into the film for its younger viewers. And providing a welcome dose of eye candy, if not the most skilled acting, is Tahnee Welch, daughter of Raquel, and proud owner of a very nice posterior, which she demonstrates for purely educational purposes, of course. Overall, I absolutely love this film. I'm not unaware of its flaws, but I choose to ignore them because the film has given me so much, for which I'm profoundly grateful. And on that note, I think I'll call it a day. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. See you later.